So from here, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Jeremy, who is our MC and moderator for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. MC, I didn't realize I was the MC. I would just like to say, looking out over the crowd, this is the biggest crowd I've ever seen. Must be. A million and a half. It's huge. So thank you all for coming. And so thanks to Mark and the folks at the Impact Hub. Thanks to Jennifer and Carolyn and everyone at the Urban Innovation Lab for doing these kinds of events. So as Jennifer said, I'm Jeremy Smith. I'm the Associate Director of the Financial Security Program at Aspen. What we do is focus on savings and wealth for low and moderate income families. What's the right mix of policy and products that get people access to the kind of financial security that so many other people enjoy. Tonight, a special thanks to my colleagues at FSP who did all of the actual work to put this event on. So that's David Mitchell, Katie Bryan, they're all in the back of the room hiding, Casey Hansen, and where's Catherine? And Catherine McKay, and our brand new intern who apparently doubles as a bartender, Gracie Lynn. Thank you guys for all of what we're doing. So just a couple of words. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to bring up 4 really exciting people to make pitches. These are not actual pitches where you guys get to vote or fund them. They're just putting ideas out into space. When that's done, so everybody's going to come up, do a 3 or 4 minute pitch, sit back down, then we're going to have a conversation about it. I'll ask a few questions and then we'll open it up to the audience. When we do that, I would just remind you that even though I'm having trouble holding the mic close enough to my mouth, that you guys in the audience probably won't have mics because we only have 3, so please speak loudly when we get to that point. So just a little bit of framing, right? We're talking about financial insecurity in the district, right? As I'm sure many of you know, that's an incredible challenge here. There was, I guess I want to frame it out with a little bit of data, or as I like to call them, non-alternative facts. There was this amazing report that got put out about a year ago that some of you might be familiar with, which was a data snapshot about financial insecurity in DC. It was put out by the Capital Area Asset Builders Network, CFED, Citi, and United Way. And it talked a lot about something called liquid asset poverty. And if you don't know what that is, liquid asset poverty is a family that can't survive on its savings for 3 months if they lose their income. And in DC, that's 4 out of 10 families, 4 out of 10. In the African American community, it's 6 out of 10, and in the Latino community, it's nearly 6 out of 10. We may think that that's a problem that mainly affects poor people, but for families with incomes between $50,000 and $75,000, which is, even though the cost of living here is high, pretty comfortably middle class income level, it's still 4 out of 10. So people don't have the avenues to build wealth that give them the ability to get by when things go bad. Assets is just one part of that story, right? It's a key part of that story, but it's not the only part. There's also, when you think about wealth in the district, there was a great report that came out for Urban recently that looked at wealth from the racial lens. In DC, the typical white family has 81 times the wealth of the typical black family. Think about that for a second, 81 times. The actual number is, if I'm not going to forget this, 284,000 versus $3,500. It's really kind of hard to wrap your head around that level. So again, wealth is part of the story. The other part of the story, as you'll see when we get to the panel, is it's also about jobs and it's about income. When you think about financial security, obviously, jobs and jobs with enough hours and enough time and enough benefits is the way you get there. DC, the unemployment rate just got down to 5.8%. For those policy wonks in the room, they could tell you that that's 1.2 or 1.3% higher than the national average. It's the lowest it's been in 8 years. If you're a young African American male, it's 4 times higher than that. So Unemployment is a huge issue here. Underemployment is a huge issue here. Stagnant wages is a big issue here. So that's the challenge that we're facing. We're in a community in one of the wealthiest regions in the country. I think 4 out of the 5 wealthiest counties in America surround the district. And yet we're facing these challenges. And so that's the context in which we're going to have this conversation.